Working hard is not the problem. The problem is that no matter what you do, you cannot outperform it. You might want to go to your first million, go to your next million, go to your next 10 million, next 20. Wherever you are, what you want to understand is that wherever you are is your current self-image. And once you smash it, you can go to your next million, you can go to your next target, you can quantum leap. Hello and a huge welcome. Today, what I want to share with you is by far the most important thing that I've ever learned, that I've ever come across in my life. And when I came across it, when I stumbled on it, I had this one question. Why this is not taught as the first thing? Why even before we are taught letters, numbers, this should be the first thing a child should be taught. This is everything. And the thing is about why we do what we do, why we don't do what we want to do, right? And what I learned was that 98% of the time throughout the day, so 98% of our life is a program. It's run by a program and it controls us 98% of the time. So we think that we are making conscious choices, we are doing the things, we are free, but actually we are controlled by this program, which is not just your subconscious mind. So that's where a lot of mindset coaches only cover the surface level. It's not just the subconscious mind, it also includes your body and it also includes your nervous system. And I'm going to share with you what this program is made of. But first, I want to share with you what happened when I started to live by this, what happened when I started to embody it. So I really wanted to start my own business. I was in a very high-paying corporate job, living a high-flying life, but it wasn't fulfilling. So when I moved to having my own business, I found something really strange, that my income was exactly what I was earning in corporate. So the first month in my business and the second month and the few months, I was earning the exact amount of money to the finest decimal. And that was very intriguing for me because I've changed the vehicle completely and still my income stays the same. That's when I stumbled on this idea that based on this autopilot program, your self-image, because this program is based on how you see you, your income stays at a certain point, which is called energetic set point. This is your psychological limit, invisible income ceiling to how much you can earn. And even if you change vehicle or try different things, your income won't change. But I learned this the hard way. So in my business, from the very onset, I started looking for the perfect strategy because I assumed that if I find that strategy, which is perfect for me, I will receive my first million and then my next million and my next million. So what I started to look for is that perfect strategy that's going to work. In the search of perfect strategy, I tried the first one. It did not work. It fell flat. I went for the second one. It did not change my income at all. I hopped onto the third one and fast forward 2 years to the eighth one, my income did not change. So 2 years and 8 strategies and hundreds of thousands of dollars investment in learning the strategies, what I realized was it was not about the strategy. It was about my inner self-image, my inner thermostat that was controlling my income. And no wonder the income that I was on was exactly what's in my corporate, because that was my thermostat. That's where it was set at. When I started to embody this concept and started to change my self-image and how I see myself, I started to wake this lioness, this part of me that was genius, this part of me that was the reflection of God, that fire within. And what started to happen was I started to get inspired ideas. I started to get this intuition talking to me, this inner voice, which I couldn't explain where it's coming from. And I started to just follow my inner system, my inner GPS. And few steps later, I did this launch and I received my annual income in a weekend. So what I was earning in the entire year, I received in a weekend. And that's when I realized, oh my God, this is a quantum leap and this thing actually works. So what I'm going to share with you today is how your self-image is formed, what your self-image actually is, and also how it shows up. Because once you know how it shows up, once you have that awareness, that deep down awareness, you will know when it's your intuition talking and when it's your self-image, your thermostat trying to control you. And the third thing, I want to give you the most powerful step that I give my clients to change their self-image. So are you ready for this breakthrough? The most important information in the entire universe, because once you know how to reprogram you, you can have anything. We are the only species in the entire universe who can reprogram themselves. Even when it comes to artificial intelligence and robots, they are programmed. So we are performing based on the program, but we have the power to reprogram ourselves, which is so beautiful. So the first thing to understand is, what is this self-image? How does it work? How was it formed? How was it created? So your self-image is a mental image that you hold in your mind, but it's also connected to your body and your nervous system. So the way it works is, it starts with a thought, a conscious thought, which comes from your conscious mind. It can be a result of outside stimuli, outside circumstances, or your own thought, or somebody else's belief or thought that has been given to you. If you don't reject it, if you accept it, it goes in your subconscious, which is your emotional mind, where you feel it. Once you feel it, it becomes a subconscious program. And then if you live with it for a while, it becomes an unconscious program. That means that now your body doesn't even consult the mind. It goes right in the body, it's stored in the body, and your body acts on it without even talking to the mind. I will give you an example. When you wake up, the first thing in the morning, you do not think, what shall I do today? Shall I brush my teeth? Shall I go to the toilet? Shall I wash my face? You just do it. You don't consult the mind. It's an autopilot program. You do it on autopilot. So it's an unconscious program. And your nervous system makes sure that you are acting in alignment with what your inner identity, your inner concept of yourself, your self-image is. Whatever word that resonates with you, please take that word. Now, it's like a thermostat. And I will give you an example of thermostat. So when you have winters, right, and it's really cold, and you're sitting watching TV, or you're sitting and resting, and somebody, maybe your partner or your children or somebody, opens the door and leave the door open, or open the window and leave the window open, and the cold air is coming in and it's so cold, and you're like, who opened the window? It's so cold. Close the door, close the window, whatever that is, right? And then the temperature starts to go down. The thermostat in the heating system in your house will detect the variation. It will change the temperature to where it was set, right? It will turn the heating system on, and then your house temperature will go back to where it was set. And this is exactly how your self-image works. So when your results start to have huge deviations, it changes your behavior, it changes how you're acting, and it makes sure that it's gone back to the same place. So when one of my one-to-one clients started working with me, she was sharing this example. She was sharing that when she's really decided she wants to do this, she wants to make big moves, all of a sudden she got sick, right? And the reason she got sick is because your nervous system will make sure that it alters your behavior no matter what it has to do. So a lot of people talk about being disciplined or trying harder, put discipline, force it, do it. You are fighting against an autopilot program that is running your digestive system, that is running your blood circulation. How can you fight it if it's meant to control you 98% of the time? So your conscious powers are only 2%. So why are you trying to fight it when you can change it? And this is the most beautiful thing. You can reprogram yourself. There is a scientist and a doctor, a plastic surgeon, Maxwell Maltz, who wrote a book, Psycho-Cybernetics, and this is literally the most powerful book you'll ever read. I've got few copies so that all my children read it as they grow up, right? I've got so many copies in my house. But what he talks about is that this is an internal image. What he says in his book is that this self-image controls you, and it doesn't matter even if your outside appearance changes, if your circumstances changes, even if the opportunity lands on your lap. It does not matter what it is. This self-image will control you the entire time, 98% of the time. Now, how was this self-image created? Now that we understand what it is, how was it created? It was created by the time you were 7 years old. That it was being formed when you were a baby, when you could not even understand what was happening around you, when you could not even understand the communication, even when you were in your mother's womb, you could hear and it was making your self-image. By the time you're 7 years old, most of it is made. If there was a certain amount of income in your family, if there were conversations about money running out, budgeting, if there were conversations about lack, if you are faced with the ideas that you are not good enough, nothing works for you, or you have to work really, really hard, or there were a lot of trauma, all these things became the part of your self-image, what was playing on the TV. And it is really important to note that at that point, when you were less than 7, you did not have your conscious abilities developed, so you could not reject the information. Whatever information that you were given, you just accepted as it is, full on, right? And that became the part of your self-image. Now, this self-image was created at a subconscious level. A lot of times, what people really struggle with is, what is my self-image? And what they try to do is they try to constantly outperform it by working harder, by pushing harder, by being more disciplined. But it keeps winning. It keeps winning every time. And that's what we often call knowing and doing gap. You might know what to do, but you're not doing it. Or you might be pushing so hard, but somehow it doesn't work. And there's a beautiful example Maxwell Maltz gave in his book, Psycho-Cybernetics. He gives the example of this math student who is working so hard for the maths exam, working and hustling and studying so much, but still gets a C grade. And the student is really annoyed because they put in so much effort, right? So it's not about the effort. If you go and tell the student now, you think that you are not good enough. That's why you got it. So you, despite of your effort, your self-image won. The student will be really annoyed and say, but I was working so hard, right? Working hard is not the problem. The problem is that no matter what you do, you cannot outperform it. So you might want to go to your first million, go to your next million, go to your next 10 million, next 20. Wherever you are, what you want to understand is that wherever you are is your current self-image. And once you smash it, you can go to your next million, you can go to your next target, you can quantum leap. So it doesn't matter if you think that, okay, I have achieved incredible. If you want more, you have to change your self-image. Otherwise, you're just battling against this subconscious program that wins every single time. Now, the question is, how do I change it? How do I change it? If changing it means that I can achieve and I can create my results on autopilot, because it controls your autopilot and most of the time anyway. So once you change it, you will create your results on autopilot without giving so much worry or discipline or so much thought or so much pressure. You will just create your results like you brush your teeth, like you wash your face, like you don't even think about it, because it becomes an unconscious program. Now, when I understood this, I asked myself this question, that the fact that we feel overwhelmed, the fact that we feel stress, the fact that stress has become like such a common theme in most of our lives, the fact that we have anxiety, all these things are because we are trying to bypass a program that is controlling us. And when we try to put too much discipline, stress, worry, shame, guilt, we reinforce the old patterns even more. And then it reinforces our stress. And then it's like a vicious cycle. You create more of the same, and then you feel all of those emotions about what you're creating. And then you create more of the same, and you're just in that cycle constantly. And once you change your self-image, what you realize is that you might be even working a lot less, but it's just the GPS is on. It's like you sit in the car, you add the GPS, and it's taking you with the shortest route, right? So it's not about working harder if your GPS is set at the same temperature, right? So imagine this. If I put the wrong address in my car and I drive 16 hours, then I drive 26 hours, then I drive 36 hours, it's not going to change the destination, is it? Even if I go round and round, I will still go where it is set at. So that brings us to the question of how do I change it? But before changing it, we want to understand what it is. We want to have the awareness because you cannot change anything until you know what the thing is. So awareness is really, really, really important. And changing what it is, what I want to share with you is how your self-image shows up in your life. What are the micro moments when it's there, when it's controlling you, when you're like, interesting. Oh my God. So I want to help you study you and get to know you better because once you study you, you become unstoppable. Let's say that you have your typical day and you wake up and there is so much going on in your head. Instead of focusing on your vision, you're thinking about all the things you need to do, the stack, the presentation, the slide, responding to your team. You're carrying so much, right? This is a way your income ceiling is controlling you because if you dedicate, right? If you trust in other people, and if you say, you know what, I attract empowered people, I am supported, I am taken care of, and then you focus on where you are going instead of carrying what is there, the empire that you're building, you will create your results faster. But even this habit of micromanaging or trying to take on too much or not delegating or thinking people cannot do that well or trying to always be the one who sees the bigger picture, trying to hold it all so that you feel that you're good enough, you feel that you're performing, is a sign that your self image is controlling you. The other thing could be that you scroll and you look at other people in your industry, in your field, and you look at their results and you think, why? What are they doing? Why can't I do this? This is the way your self-image is controlling you because the time you're spending to look at them and let it impact your confidence, you can focus on your own creation. The other way your self-image can control you is when you receive money, when you win the contract, when you have this, when you receive the client, you might have this inclination to spend money and you say, oh, it's like you spend it like you stole it. So you want to spend money, you want to do something. It's like you can't hold the money. Or it could also be that you become so desensitized to what you are receiving that you're like, oh, what's next? There's always this feeling it's never enough. The more you receive, the more you feel it's never enough. That is your self-image way to constantly keep you in the lack. The other way could be you decide to do something, but you cannot focus fully and you're thinking about 10 other things and trying to do so many things and multitask and doing this and doing that, that you don't do anything as a masterpiece. You don't do anything in the greatest way because it's not about doing so many things. It's about when you do that one thing, it's so good. If I give you my example, let's say I want to grow my YouTube channel, right? Or I want to grow my business. If I focus on creating videos and I say I want to create 20 videos in a week and not even one of them is great, what's the point? I'm doing more, but none of them has all of me. None of them has that energy of excellence. Versus I say, you know what? I want to do 2 videos a week. That's it. I'm doing 2 videos, but they are excellent. Or I'm doing 3 videos and they're excellent, right? Trying to do too much, trying to keep yourself so busy that you don't take time to relax and reflect and bring that genius, right? Trying to always be in the hustle mode, right? Or you have planned to do something and you spend so much time taking inspiration on what other people are doing, right? Or you're constantly feeling burned out, right? But there's a part of you who wants to control everything and who doesn't want to step back and rest and realign. One of the beautiful beliefs that I have is the more I rest, the more I make. So when I'm resting, actually my brain is taking time to reintegrate, to connect the patterns, to think of the breakthroughs. According to neuroscience, when you're resting, your brain is doing more work than you would be doing proactively. You want to give your brain time to rest and reintegrate, make the patterns, give you those breakthroughs, and take time to receive while just hustling for more, right? There are so many ways that your self-image can control you. One of the ways which I've seen most common with most of my clients, and this is the first thing I shift for them, is no matter how high they get, they don't feel successful. They don't feel good enough. It's like, I've got all this success, but why doesn't it feel like success? Why it feels like I'm not enough? Why it doesn't change anything? And what starts to happen is because your self-image is controlling you and you have this feeling, then you start to self-sabotage because you're not integrating the identity of someone who is successful. I also ask this question often. If I ask you to respond in a second, right, without thinking, are you a middle class person or are you rich? And oftentimes, millionaires and multimillionaires come in my programs and say to me, I think I'm a middle class, right? Money doesn't change that. You have to change that. So there are so many things how your self-image controls you. Your self-image keeps you where you are. It's like if you want to operate from 10 million, if you want to operate from 20 million, if you want to operate from 100 million, you want to take on that identity so that your GPS is on and you can go there on autopilot. You cannot fight your autopilot system to go there, right? And the strategy will not work until until you are that person, because it's about what's your energy behind the strategy. It's about who you are when you are executing it. So two people can do the same masterclass, two people can do the same launch, right? But if their energy is not behind what they're creating, it won't create, right? Now that you understand how your self-image is controlling you, what you want to talk about is what is the most powerful step you can take today to release it. And the most powerful step that you can take today to release it is write a love letter to money. Now, when I say love letter, a lot of times people think, oh, I have to say nice things. What I really would love for you to write is a very raw, very open. It's like you're just being on a rant, but sharing how you really feel from as far as you know money, from the first time you understood consciously what money is, from the first experience you had with money. Maybe you saw your parents budgeting, maybe you saw them fighting, maybe you saw somebody stealing money from somebody. And whatever your first experience is until now, write all the things that you have encountered with money and how you really feel about it. It doesn't have to be positive. In fact, the more you can be open, the more you can allow yourself to really write how it feels and what you think, the more it will give you awareness. We are not doing it from the place of judging ourselves. We are doing it from pure awareness. And once you write this letter, you will have such deep understanding of what your self-image is. Because remember, you cannot change anything until you know what it is. And what self-image is really is how you see you with money, how you see you with your business, how you see you with your achievements, how you see your capability, your potential. It's your concept of you. And this letter will help you go really deep. So I do this every other month. I get my clients to do it repeatedly, because as your relationship with money evolves, it's really helpful to understand where it's going. You will start to pick up a lot of patterns and things that you wouldn't know at a conscious level, because remember, your real relationship with money was created by the time you were 7 years old. So it all happened under the hood. It all happened at a subconscious level. And share with me, what was your biggest breakthrough from this video? And from that point, I had quantum leaps after quantum leap. And that's when the brand, the Platinum CEO, was born. And I became the go-to identity advisor for CEOs and executives in the boardroom and the visionaries, cultural icons, and top 1% entrepreneurs. Hi, this is Anam Hayat, the CEO and founder of the brand, the Platinum CEO.